This webinar will take roughly 20 minutes, and you're welcome to submit your questions throughout. We will leave room at the end to answer them. So why are we even here to talk about site search today? And this is really the main reason. You have only 10 seconds to grab your web visitors' attention, and if they don't find what they're looking for, they go look for it somewhere else pretty quickly. So we are not even here to talk about site search yet. What we are really here to talk about is your website is your main marketing tool and how to make it better and more effective. And you as marketers invest time and money to ensure your web visitors are engaged and are driven to action. Site search can be a big part of it, only if you know how to use it. Which brings us to another question. Is site search really a marketing tool? It is rarely considered as part of the digital marketer's toolbox, and sometimes it is even considered the domain of IT. It really depends on the organization. What we're going to show you in this webinar is that site search, if utilized correctly, can be a highly effective marketing tool. A tool that can really affect the ROI of your website. And it is currently ignored and underutilized because of several reasons, which we will discuss in a minute. What we're going to show you is that with a bit of attention, site search can be a low-hanging fruit for marketing. It can increase engagement on your website. It can boost online conversion. It can help promote your content, and it can improve your customer satisfaction. And before we go there, let's talk about a great search experience. And the first thing that comes to mind is Google, of course. An average internet user in the United States performs over 1,500 searches a year. And there are over 1.6 trillion searches a year on Google. So Google really cracked the code for a great search experience. But what about site search? Not so great, usually. While Google is ruling the internet search, site search is still considered broken. Site search on most sites is unseen by website visitor and is mostly ignored. When used, it sometimes does not perform fully. And website owners and marketers, such as yourself, sometimes pay very little attention to site search. It is just something you must have, so you place some generic tool and hope that it performs okay. And you overcome its limitation by investing time and money into good site navigation. Before we dive into some helpful site search tips for you guys, we're going to do a quick industry solutions overview just to show you what's out there. And there are 4 main site searches you can typically find on websites. And let's start with the one from a different industry, the e-commerce site search. So the e-commerce site search solution has one goal in mind: to get the web visitor to buy. Therefore, they're usually rich with content, they look great, and you will always find something even if they don't have the product you're looking for. You will get a recommendation or something else, anything to keep you engaged. Amazon, for example, makes recommendation based on what my Facebook friends bought. And so the e-commerce site search integrates directly to product catalogs. So it is built in a very structured way, which makes it very easy to control content and add ranking. Because we were late, I'm not going to show you an example, but you can go on the BlackBerry site, for example, and see a great example for site search. The second example, and this is actually the most common type of site search, is the generic site search tool. And these are usually, as you can see in this example here, it's a bit boring. It's got a low level of customization. Most of them serve you some sort of a basic Google-like results page, which is, as you can see, a long list of links. And Google also has its own generic site search solution, which has some good customization features. You can actually make it look much better than the way it looks right here. But like other generic site searches, changes, they're not easy to make, and you need to do it within the code, so you'll probably need the help of your IT guy. It's not that friendly. The third one is more high-end enterprise solutions. And these are mostly platforms and not solution, which means you can't just go and buy them over the web. These would take time to implement and integrate within your website, so you're looking into a long-term project you will need to work on with your IT department. And some of these platforms, just like Tvio, for example, have some very advanced feature. You can get them to do exactly what you want, but they're expensive, and as I said, they take longer to implement. To make things easier, here's a quick site search solutions overview. It's the summary of everything we discussed. So as you can see, if you're in no rush and have a substantial budget, you can go with an enterprise solution, which can actually get you all different, features that you like, and it's easily customizable. As far as generic site search tools, there's a variety of them out there. Some perform better than others, but most of them are far from being your ideal marketing tool, just for the fact that they don't have any content promotion features or call to action features, which are fairly important for marketers. And overall, as you can see, the e-commerce solutions is really, e-commerce is really getting a bang for its buck. And just to show you what that means and how that translates into ROI, so 71% of serious shoppers use the search function to find products, 90% of them use the search function to locate products, and there's a 20% increase in sales for online stores implementing quality search functionality. So as you can see, site search can really drive business. The question is, why can't it work for other verticals? Why only e-commerce? The thing is, it really can. It just requires a bit of attention, and we're going to give you now a few quick tips to show you how you can make site search better. So we go into some practical tips to improve site search. So these tips will work for you if you have site search, mostly generic, or if you're interested in replacing the one that you have. And this first one it's pretty straightforward. Make it look different, otherwise it will be ignored. It doesn't need to look like it looks here in this example, but most site searches, that the generic ones, they blend into your navigation, and users, they just ignore them. So make sure when you pick one that can actually be customizable. Tip number 2, make the results page a great experience for web visitors by making it visual. So the traditional search site tools show a list of links, just like Google. But you need to find a site search that can have you customize the results. You might need the help of your IT guys to do it, but it's worth it. It is more than just great looks. Our brain actually deals better when it recognizes differentiation. It makes it easier for us to pick what's relevant. So this is a really important feature for you when you pick a site search tool. Tip number 3, take search into consideration when you build your website or when you're building a new website directory. So it's the same thing as when you write content for your website. You don't only think about what a great read it would be, but you also think about how it plays into your SEO strategy. The same way, when you build your website, you need to think about how it would affect your site search. And there are specific ways which your website should be built to support site search working effectively. And for example, if there is structured content like courses, departments, or professors, try not to spread them in too many places, but have them in one place, one page for each. It really helps to pull your most important content up to the top results, and also helps collecting the data more effectively. Tip number 4, how do you pick a good site search? So these are the basic rules. Check for the following. It needs to be able to show suggestions, it needs to correct misspellings, and it needs to make suggestions based on parts of words. And when you pick site search, you always look for an example somewhere online, and you check and see if it can do those 3 things, and then you can check the rest. For example, you can really improve your user experience by picking a site search tool that can search as you type. Super important, and also super simple. You almost expect it. But not all site search would give you that. Number 6, pick a site search that allows you to add ranking rules. So your website visitors will find first what's important to you and your organization. So adding ranking rules is an admin feature that you should make sure that you have. It allows you to decide which search categories and words appear first. For example, what's first? For example, would you like departments to appear first or maybe professors? Okay, I'm going to check and see if we have some questions coming. Okay, we do have some questions. We're going to keep them, I think, maybe to the end. Yeah. Thanks for everyone for submitting. We're going to go on. Tip number 7. So, do you ever get 0 results when searching on Amazon? Never, ever. Same should go for your website. Worst case, just show something else that is relevant for the search, something that would engage your users. Moving on to tip number 8. So some site search tools offer search analytics, which can be a very helpful add-on to your site analytics. What's great about search analytics is that you get to know exactly what your web visitor was looking for, not just which page he or she visited. You can use search analytics to improve your website content. So if there are many searches for a specific keyword, and for example, they get 0 results, then you know that you should probably be adding this content to your website. So this is a really useful tool using analytics. Tip number 9. Find a tool that can help you with adding relevant keywords to search, either manually or there are some site search tools that will do so automatically. For example, if someone searches for donations, make sure that you also add the word like gifts. And don't forget about invisible keywords. Find a site search tool that will support invisible keywords, which are the keywords that a user doesn't see. They're within, the HTML code, same as meta tags. Simple. And last one, you really don't have to wait if you want to improve site search immediately. Because some site search tools require no integration with your website and no changes to your website. So you don't need to wait for a site upgrade. And in fact, if you can't afford a site upgrade right now and you're only going to do it within a year, you might as well just place a great site search tool for better user experience. So these are all our tips. And just to summarize, if you put a bit of time and effort into your site search, it can serve as a great marketing tool and help you create a richer website experience. And we think that specifically in higher education, there are great opportunities to create a rich search experience for researchers and prospective students.